Welcome back to the See Through It podcast. I am your host, Brian Sales, and today is Friday. As I told you guys, I will be back Friday to do an episode, but as you will notice, that this one is a little bit different. This one is already, I am recording this one because I will be on another show, the Bama Bo Show tonight. So this one I will release around sometime later today, but this is a previously recorded episode for today's episode. So before we get into all of that, let's go ahead and jump into some contact information so you guys can contact me if you're looking to give me topics that you want to hear about or whatever. Please contact me here, facebook.com/STIPODCAST. Also, you can email me at seethroughitpodcast@gmail.com. Also, both places are great locations to send me information. If you want to purchase coffee mugs, our tall glass mugs that we have, and hoodies, and some other things. Hoodies, tall mugs, and coffee mugs. Actually, I have a coffee mug right here. Let me put this down first. But yeah, go ahead and contact me there if you have um, any topics that you want to talk about, or if you want are looking to purchase anything. Also, let's go ahead and show you how I accept payment. PayPal me at PayPal.me see through it /see through it. So if you're looking to purchase anything, I have PayPal and I accept it through there. Also, if you want to donate to the show, you can donate through that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the show. But let me show you the coffee mug. This is my favorite one. I've done some others. I guess I got to start displaying those so you guys can see that I have different ones, and so I have two brands: the See Through It, as you see, the See Through It podcast and all that, and I have my Warriors collection, which is a nod to the military and to my military background. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Um, Today we're going to be talking about Carmelo Anthony finally returning to the NBA, Myles Garrett situation, and Colin Kaepernick. Another just a refresh on that, or a different point of view, kinda, and some college football games that you should definitely be keeping an eye on. So let's go ahead and talk about the personnel that I've just mentioned. So the first we're gonna jump into is Colin Kaepernick. We're gonna talk about Colin Kaepernick, and um, I think Wednesday, I wasn't too fond of how he went by handling his workout with the NFL. Again, it was about a waiver where he could not possibly sue them if he felt like there was some type of wrongdoing, and it was a waiver to make sure players that were participating in that workout could not sue the NFL or look to gain some kind of financial from the NFL. So plus, there's probably some other things, and he didn't like it, and I'm pretty sure there was already bad communication. So he had already had that high school lined up to. That's where his workout was going to be, because anywhere at any school facility, you have to have permission a day before you can just walk up onto their basketball courts or tennis or anything like that. You have to make sure it's cool with somebody, and I'm pretty sure he had already had that planned out. Um, but again, I still don't like how he went by doing it. I don't like how he showed up in a Kuta Kinte shirt for majority white owners. Like that doesn't sit well with me. And like if he, I'm not gonna say if he really wanted to play, but sometimes if you wanting to do something so bad, you're gonna abide by their rules. You're gonna follow their footsteps until you can get in. Um, I mean, it's the same thing where people will be like they know they can't smoke weed, and they know this company has drug tests, but they'll stop smoking weed for that time frame so they can get in and then maybe pick it back up or whatever. But I mean, bad communication, the distrust is real between the NFL and Colin Kaepernick. And I don't know if he did this for a PR stunt or what, but I don't think he's ever going to get back into the NFL. Because if I'm a white owner in the NFL and I see a player wearing Kuta Kinte and I'm been told, or he referred to the NFL as they're running and hiding the truth and all that. I mean, you 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 just burned that bridge, a bridge that we were trying to put together so you can come across. Um, and you went out there and burned it. I don't know many companies that you can sue and still try to work for them. I don't know many companies that you can sue. They give you a second chance or whatever, and you still want to play by your own rules. I don't know how. I don't see him coming back to the NFL. Um, yeah, I don't see it happening. There's too many egos involved, and the NFL is too big. They're not gonna break for one person. They can care less. They don't care what the rest of America is saying or whatever. They're not gonna break who they are to allow this. I mean, he wasn't a. He's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback with a good arm, and or a decent quarterback with a good arm that still needed some more development. So I don't. It's not Tom Brady. If it was Tom Brady and he was black, and you know, um, maybe the NFL would be trying to bend some rules or whatever. But I don't know. That's a sticky situation. But I don't see him coming back to the NFL. I don't see him coming back to the NFL. He has blown up that bridge. As we transition, we'll talk about Carmelo Anthony coming back to the NBA, finally getting a chance to play in the NBA. Got signed by the Portland Trailblazers on a not guaranteed contract. I don't even know what that means, but I try to look that up. But I guess he's not getting any money that's like guaranteed up front. Now I guess that makes sense. He's had shoe deals with the Jordan brand, and he's probably made tons and tons of money already. So I don't think he signed because or was trying to get back into the NBA for money reasons, but he just loved the game of basketball. Carmelo Anthony was one of my favorite players um, before things got real bad in New York, and he had to go to Oklahoma City, and then that little stint in Houston. Um, I've always liked Carmelo. He was a prolific scorer. He could shoot the ball from mid range from anywhere on the floor. He can get into the paint. He has so many offensive moves. He was an offensive juggernaut. And the fact that he was kind of chunky. He wasn't a little guy. He was kind of chunky, and the way he was a bigger Kobe, but he was more efficient. Uh, if I'm saying that right. Carmelo he had a smooth jumper. He was all offense. He never played. I don't really recall him playing any type of real defense or anything like that. But Carmelo Anthony was an assassin on the offensive side of the ball. I like players like that. Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan. Um, I slight Kobe every now and then because people be trying to put him above Michael Jordan. But I like those type of players, especially the players that are dominant, that go after it. Um, Not really a real fan of LeBron James because I feel like he's passive aggressive. He says one thing, meanwhile meaning something else. Um, he's not an attack dog on the basketball court, and I don't like that. I like Jordan. I like the alpha males: Jordan, Kobe, Carmelo, and I mean you can argue Kevin Durant's not really that, but he's a sniper from anywhere on the floor. He can get his shot from anywhere on the floor. But I digress. Carmelo Anthony is finally back in the NBA. I watched a little bit of his game last night against the Bucks, and defensively, he is still the same. That man cannot play defense. He's not going to be able to chase people around the court, coming off screens. Um, what else? He's, he's not good at boxing out. He's basically just going to be on the floor for offense. Does that hurt Portland? Until he get more efficient and is able to shoot the ball at a higher percentage, it might hurt them, but they don't really have much anyway without Carmelo. So I hope this season, I hope he plays out the whole season. I hope he finishes the season with Portland. I hope he doesn't get traded and sent away because things are not working or whatever. I watched that game and there was a couple times where players were being fouled or whatever. One time CJ McCollum got fouled. It was time for him to shoot his free throw. The rest of the team went over there, dapped him up. Good job and all that. Carmelo, I didn't know where he was. I didn't know where he was. I was looking at the bench, trying to figure out what was his interactions with the teammates and all that, and I couldn't see him. I think he was sitting at the end of the bench or so. Towards the end of the third quarter, he was standing up with the rest of the teammates, clapping and all that. So it's just going to be interesting to see what kind of team chemistry they build for the rest of the season. I know he just got there, and they some of the new guys maybe ruffled their feathers because Carmelo coming in, so their minutes might be taken away and all that. So everyone, it's probably going to they're probably going to have a conversation, and everyone's going to have to buy into what the Portland Trailblazers are trying to do. Carmelo's going to have to come in humble, and I think he is. I think he's going to come in very humble, but I think we still going to get the same Carmelo. He's going to put up the shots, and he's going to be hot for a night. He might not be hot, but we should all be excited to see Carmelo on the floor. I'm definitely excited to see Carmelo on the floor. So I hope the season goes well. I don't know if they make the playoffs, but it should definitely be an interesting season. Because I was shocked that I've seen two Portland Trailblazers games on TV, and they're 5-10, so or 5-11 now. But that was very interesting. It's because Carmelo is on that team, so they're gonna we haven't seen Carmelo in a while, and the intrigue is there. They want to know how he's doing, how the team is doing. So we're gonna see some games. So it's gonna be a very interesting season. I'm not gonna really get into the NBA until maybe college football stops. January is when NBA starts heating up, college basketball starts really heating up. So um, be looking forward to more NBA talk as we transition to the Myles Garrett situation. So initially, when I first saw that, I was like, "Ooh, he hit him in the head with a helmet. That's almost murder." Whoa, what would cause him to do that? And then I've watched the replay over and over again, and it looked like Mason was trying to rip his helmet off, or was trying to control his head, or whatever he was trying to do. I don't know. I can't speculate. We can all assume that Mason was trying to rip his head off or whatever. But they got up. He took his helmet off and hit him. And then he calmly walked off the field, And then the cameras asked him, and he was like, "I made a mistake," and blah, 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 blah. So then the investigation starts. He's appealing, and he comes out and says Mason Rudolph called him an N-word. Or I don't want to say he called him an N-word because he could have called him something else. Use a racial slur, and that could be anything. So, use a racial slur. Well, when I first heard that, I was like, okay, okay, oh, okay, maybe that would make you mad enough to rip his helmet off and um you know and then hit him with it. I guess that would incite you to do that. That would I guess that would, so then I started I digested that, and then I kept thinking about it, and I was like, well, if that was the case, well, why didn't you say that after the game when we was all speculating like what happened, why didn't you tell us that after the game? Because then that would have created a firestorm, right? a black player um, being called a racial slur by a white quarterback. That would have started a firestorm. That would have made a lot of people angry. Um, Everyone would have been like, "Look at Mason Rudolph. Like, what's going on, Mason?" But that's not what happened. What happened was you hit him in the head with the helmet, waited till you appealed, and then told us that he called you or he used a racial slur. That makes me think of Jesse Smollett. I think I said his name right, but the liar, and that was in Chicago and said that he was um, tied up and they tried to hang him. He was tied up by two white males and they was wearing MAGA hats and called him the N word and all that, and he had a scrape on his face, and it was two dudes, and he it was 2 in the morning, and he was going to get him some Subway and all that. Like that's the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, wow. And I don't think people understand that. Like when you say someone called you, used a racial slur against you, that brings up so many emotions. That brings up so many thoughts, so many feelings when you say that. Um, and I don't know if he's ever been called that. I can't speculate and say, yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows how that feel. So I'm appalled that he would say that he did that. No, I don't know if he's ever been called that. I know I have. I know my brother, my sister have. Excuse me. I know people at school when I was in Alabama. We were called that. So I know what kind of how that made me feel. And to hear people lying or doing that to get people on their side about whatever's going on, it's disgusting. Like it's disgusting. I don't like it because I was actually called that, and they meant hate when they said it. Like it was hateful. And here you are using this word or using this claim to diminish what you just did on the field. That's not okay. Now we're all speculating. The NFL did their investigation and they said there's nothing here to be seen. The investigation was quick, to say the least, but the investigator said that there was nothing there. I kind of paused about that because I don't know. I'm still up in arms about it. I don't know because they could have done their investigation. I mean, I'm sure you've seen NFL films or whatever, and they have the mics are able to pick up all types of sounds and conversations and all that. They're able to do all of that. So, is there a situation where the NFL, they went back and listened to all the tape and heard nothing? Or is there a situation where the NFL went back, heard the tapes, and heard something? And even if it's a lesser degree of the word or of the whatever, would they tell us? I don't know if I trust the NFL to do the right thing. But what I do know is that just because if Mason had done that, that does not give you the right to take his helmet off and bash him in the head. Now, what if you would have really connected and split his head open in front of all them fans in that stadium? Kids there, and this is the reaction they're seeing from people that they see as heroes or role models that they like. The message that you're sending is if they do it to me, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something 10 times worse. That's a bad message. And it's crazy that I see these in the comments. He deserved it. No, no, no. What he deserves is punishment for his actions. He deserves punishments for what he said. Not I need to react to punish him on top of him maybe getting the punishment. No, no, because the last person is the person that's going to get punished the hardest. Now, I'm not saying because people like to take things a little bit further. Well, if your kid go to school and get in a fight, you just expect them to sit there and get beat up? No, actually, what I do believe in is that in today's society, it's not safe for kids to be fighting because you don't know if it's going to be a one-on-one fight. It's not safe. These kids are stabbing each other. over stupid stuff. I seen a video where this guy thought he was about to fight this one boy over some girl, and he was stabbed 62 times. He was only 16. I think it was 62 times in broad daylight after school in New York City over a girl. He thought it was just gonna be a dude and him fighting about a girl, and it turned into 16 people or something like that attacking him and stabbing him to death, where he died in the streets. See, that old logic that would have made sense back in the day when it used to be one on one and you had a circle and people. Not in today's society. It's not okay to be promoting violence against each other. If someone does something, you're able to get away from that situation, especially a child in school. Don't sit there and tell that child to fight. There was another video where a kid was in a bathroom. I guess he really didn't have no choice, but I guess he had to fight back because they was blocking the door. He thought it was going to be one person, and the person that was blocking the door, the one hit him in the face. It's crazy. But I move on past that. I move past that. The whole point is that person did Mason. If Mason says something, you get up, you walk away, you throw your fit, you be adamant about something's going wrong. And then when the reporters ask you about that situation, you be like, yeah, he called me a name. I'm not going to let this die. I'm going to keep bringing it up. I'm going to appeal to the NFL, blah, 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 blah. But it's hard to do that when you didn't mention it right after the game. And the last thing we saw was you busting his or trying to crack his head open with his helmet. Do I believe that Mason Rudolph called him a name? I don't know. I don't know the guy. I don't know. I don't know. I watched the video. I was trying to watch his lips, trying to watch his mouth to see if he's saying anything, if he's but you can't see because his helmet is on, and then when it's off, the center I think is blocking. Like Mason's hiding behind the center's shoulder, and then all of a sudden, his head pops up, and then Myles hits him in the helmet, hits him in the head, and then he goes back again. So at what point? I mean, if he did say it, did the referee hear him? Did any other players hear him? Why didn't Myles tell any teammates when he went back to the locker room, like, that man used a racial slur against me? I just lost it. Usually, if someone says something, you're repeating that immediately. You're not gonna hold that in and be like, you know what, I was wrong, blah blah. No, no. You're saying something about it. So, I think it's disgusting that if he is lying, I think it's very disgusting that he's using that, and it's disrespectful for the people that really went through being called names and spat on and all that, for him to lose his cool and then use that the race card as a cop out to try to justify his actions. Be a grown man. You hit that man because you lost your cool. Point blank, period. So that's how I feel on that. So as we move on to something a little bit much lighter, something much more suspenseful and enjoyable. We got college football games coming up Saturday. We already know the top four. Alabama lost Tua Tagovailoa. I think I said his name right. I think I said his name wrong. But we lost Tua, and also lost to LSU. So Alabama has an uphill climb. Everyone is kind of mad. I know I talked to a lot of people with Alabama. They're mad that Alabama dropped to 5, but if you have a fresh loss towards the end of the season, everyone else lost at the beginning. Yeah, your loss sticks out more than anyone else's. I understand that Alabama beat South Carolina by 20 some odd points, and Georgia lost to South Carolina in Georgia. I get that. But again, Alabama lost last. Everyone else is still winning. So if there's a way to get into the playoffs, I'm sure um, the playoff committee will find a way, or some teams. I guess the only way is teams got to stumble. So let's go ahead and jump into what teams could stumble and what teams should be definitely looking out to make sure they take care of business so they can increase their percentage of getting into the playoffs. We got Oregon and Arizona State. I've been high on Arizona State all year. Right now they're 5-5. You know, it is a very young team. But again, Herm Edwards is a great coach. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. And with Oregon coming into Arizona State, I feel like we have an upset coming. I can see Arizona State beating Oregon. They play solid defense. They control the clock. And Herm Edwards is not going to put his team in any situation where they cannot compete. Um, to get that number 6 win and then to get ready to play Arizona at the end of the year, will put them at 7 wins possibly. It would be a great finish for the Arizona State Sun Devils. I can definitely see Oregon going into Arizona State and maybe getting tripped up, looking ahead to the Civil War with Oregon State, and then hopefully jumping into the Pac-12, hearing all the noise, being tight. I can definitely see that. If and then let me just be clear. Even if they do take care of business, they beat Arizona State and they beat Oregon State, they're not getting to the playoffs. I know Kurt Hurstreet and Danny Cannell and whoever else, they've been pushing for this and they've been trying to get the Pac-12 in. It's not going to happen. Alabama, they take care of business this Saturday and then go into Jordan Hare Stadium against the Auburn Tigers. And if they beat them, I see it very hard for the committee to be like, you know what? This Alabama team lost Tua and still beat this Auburn team. They lost their starting quarterback and they still went into Auburn. Tough place to play. Rivalry game. And they beat Auburn. I don't see the committee jumping Oregon above Alabama. So people save it. The Pac-12 is done. I don't care if Oregon beats Utah. The Pac-12 is not making the playoffs. Next, we got Texas A&M and Georgia. This could be interesting. Kellen Mond has come on strong towards the end of the season, and Georgia defense is getting better by the week. But how good is the defense when they face someone that can actually move the ball? We will definitely see. We will definitely see Saturday. I think this is going to be a close game. I'm gonna say Georgia wins, but I'm thinking 24 or 31-21. 31-21 Georgia beats Texas A&M. It's just gonna be some late touchdown or whatever, but Texas A&M is gonna come out ready to play. They're gonna come out ready to play. This is not gonna be a blowout. They're gonna come out ready to play. I mean, if they win, this helps Alabama. This helps Alabama a lot. Next, we got Texas and Baylor. Who? We're back. That's what Sam Ellinger said, right? He said Texas Longhorns were back. Right now, the Texas Longhorns are sitting with a record of 6-4. 6-4. That's tough. That's tough. I definitely didn't see this happening. I thought Texas would be in the contention for the playoffs, but somehow that fell to the wayside, and we have Baylor instead. Can Baylor beat Texas? I don't believe Baylor will beat Texas just because they lost to Jalen Hurts. Sam is a great quarterback, and this would be a good win for Texas. They need to finish strong towards the end of the season. Need to finish strong towards the end of the season. It will help and boost their recruiting efforts because this was definitely not the season that they was looking to produce. And then the last one, we have Penn State, Ohio State. Penn State, Ohio State is a very interesting matchup. All year, Ohio State has not been challenged at all. We've seen them dominate the Midwest in recruiting and in everything they have dominated. They own the Big Ten. They own the Midwest. Now you have Penn State, who is still trying to reestablish themselves as one of the elites, as a super heavyweight. Right now they're a heavyweight or a lightweight, trying to get into that heavyweight and stay in that heavyweight range. They dropped the game against Minnesota. I saw that one coming because Minnesota can stretch the field. I also watched them play Pittsburgh, and they almost lost to Pittsburgh. Why? Because Pittsburgh could stretch the field. This is the same, that they're playing the same thing. Ohio State can stretch the field. The speed that they're going to see is going to be different. They didn't see the same speed that Minnesota and Ohio State speed levels are so different. Minnesota's here, Ohio State is here. You see that, the comparison? And they was getting burned. They was getting burned. Penn State has a lot of young. They have a lot of. They're young in the secondary. I don't see them. I want to say they keep this game close. I want to say that they have a fighting chance. I mean, every team has a fighting chance until the game starts, until it says final. But I feel like Ohio State has been on a mission since spring training. Leave no doubt. They hung 73 points on Maryland because of last year. 73. No one's really. I mean, they're talking about them, but they're really not talking about them. As you see, I used to have them at number one, but because LSU beat Alabama in Alabama, I felt compelled to put LSU above Ohio State. If that hadn't happened, Ohio State would still be number one. But it was hard because I mean they put 70. They're smashing teams. I don't see a way, or I don't see a way that Penn State beats Ohio State when they struggled against Minnesota. I don't see it. I just don't see it. Justin Fields is showing that he's a good quarterback. He can throw the ball and he can run the ball. Minnesota didn't really have that aspect. They had the running ball with the running backs, but the quarterback wasn't a dual threat. A threat wasn't a dual threat. You're about to see a dual threat come Saturday. So with that being said, I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna say Ohio State's been hearing all the noise about Penn State upset them that one season, and can they do it again? Saquon Barkley and all. Can they do that again? Can they ruin Ohio State season? I'm going 50 to 21. 50 to 21. That's what I'm trusting their offense will at least put up 3 touchdowns. I'm thinking Ohio State is going to put up a bunch. So there you have it. Those are the games. The main game to be paying attention to is at Texas and Baylor, and at Oregon and Arizona State. Can Arizona State ruin the Oregon Ducks season? I think they can. I've watched a couple games. They're pretty solid on defense and growing on offense. So as a coach by Herm Edwards, he's a good coach. I'm sure he'll put those players in a position to win that game. So we will wait and see till Saturday. But till then, guys, I'd like to say thank you for watching this episode. I will be releasing this one soon. I guess you're watching this and I don't have to say that. But anyway, I will be back next Wednesday with another community-based awareness type topic. Also, I'm working on 2 other topics off-site with some people trying to get the timing down and get that set. But We got some different topics coming in. So anyway, again, if you need to contact me here at facebook.com/STIPODCAST. Share, like, comment, join the conversation, run that number up to 500 as you see it on the whiteboard. The goal is to get to 500 before the end of the year. Right now, I think we're sitting at like 361 or something like that. So if you could, I would greatly appreciate it to get those numbers up to 500. Also, I'm on YouTube. Once we get to 100 subscribers, I'll be able to put up a custom URL. So help me out with that. Share that YouTube channel. Go there and subscribe. Also, you can contact me at my email account, seethroughitpodcast@gmail.com. If you are wanting to, donate to the show, help me get some more stuff. If not, that's fine. But if you do, paypal.me/seethroughit. A little donation here and there, 25 cents or whatever you want to donate. If you don't want to donate, you just want to come in and watch the episodes, that is fine and dandy. No pressure there. I do accept PayPal for my coffee mugs and everything else that I'm doing. So please get in touch with me on any of those things. Again, here's another shot of the coffee mug. I have black, white. I have taller mugs. Those are my large ones. I guess this would be like a medium. But anyway, let me know if you want any of those things, and I would definitely get those to you. So again, thank you for watching it. This is the See Through It podcast. I'm your host, Brian Sells. Oh, before I go, don't be blinded by the media. Make sure you hashtag See Through It. I'm your host, Brian Sells. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.